Good morning, legends. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having an amazing day so far, and it only gets better from here. In today's video, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from the short-term analysis, and I want to do something a little bit different today. And what I want to do today is take a bigger long-term picture of Bitcoin. Today's video is going to be dedicated to the long-term crypto investors. I'm going to get into where I think Bitcoin is going long-term, where we are now, things we need to consider, and when I think this market might actually genuinely turn around. Now, before I get into all of that, I am going to do a quick rundown on the overnight price action and just a bit of a warning of what I think might happen now being Thursday, one day till the weekend. So if you like all things technical analysis, if you like short-term trading as well as long-term investing, this is going to be the video for you. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And if 5 minutes into this video you have learned something new, then don't forget to hit that like button as well and leave me a comment below. Now, let's just take a very quick look at the market in general. So far on the higher time frame for Bitcoin, this M pattern is still playing out. We had the rise, we had the lower high that created the M, then we had this big drop into the channel. And what's happening right now on price action could very well be the retest of that M. In my previous videos, I've mentioned that as long as price is under this dotted line, we should have a bearish bias. So if Bitcoin has a chance of pushing up from here, we really need to see it get above that dotted line, but I will take a closer look at that in a second. Ethereum is holding this support really well so far on the daily. That's a good sign. And USDT has now moved away from that monthly resistance. So if the USDT keeps coming down, that's going to generally be good for crypto. S&P has had its 50 fib level bounce, seems to be pushing up, looking good as well. And the Dixie is starting to retrace. If that's going to retrace, that's going to give crypto a chance to move. So we want to see that come down probably a little bit more if we're to see Bitcoin break the center line. Now that we know all of that, let's take a look at what happened on Bitcoin yesterday on the smaller time frames. So on yesterday's video, I went into detail about this W formation that led to the level 1 rise, which was here. And then we also spoke about the straightaway trade, which was also the level 2 rise here. And we were expecting one more rise before any sort of pullback, and late last night we did get that. Only just took out the high of the day on the OKX chart. Might be a different level if you're on other charts, but moral of the story, we have on the 1 hour time frame, we've had our W pattern and we've had our 3-level rise. What usually happens next then is the reversal. Being midweek, it kind of makes sense as well. However, there is something to be careful of, and that is a news play. What we have coming up tonight, which in Melbourne time it's going to be 3 a.m., is the Fed Chair Powell speaks. Whenever he speaks, it tends to not be great for crypto. So I'm a bit hesitant to hold trades through here. Considering it's going to be 3 a.m. my time, anything can happen. So if I do take any trades today, I will close them out before I go to bed tonight. If you're awake at this time because you're in another part of the world, then definitely be aware of this announcement, as it can bring volatility into the market and move it in any direction depending on what comes out of it. So the question we have to ask ourselves then is, if that meeting is still 18 hours away, is it possible that we get our 3-level drop within the next 18 hours? It is, but I would be watching for that on lower time frames. So we've already had this rejection. This rejection was perfectly identified in Trading Light, by the way. As you can see here on my Twitter, I did this update late last night of the 42K area being an area to be very careful of, because there were a lot of shorts building in that zone. So Trading Light for the win on that one. It definitely protected the TTC community. We all knew to close our long trades before price hit this area. So congrats to everyone in the Discord who made profits last night and managed it beautifully well. Now, the situation that we have right now is we've had this drop here, which would be the level 1 drop, and we're currently retracing, coming back to retest the previous high of the day, which I haven't moved yet for today. Ideally, I want to see it in this candle that is happening right now as I film this. Because we've had these 3 candles straight up, I really want this one to close bearish. That's going to give me more confidence that what is happening right now is an M formation. If we can get that M formation here and stay under the previous high of the day, then we may see the level 2 drop and the level 3 drop before the announcement tonight. I do like that we currently have these wicks at the top, but it's not enough yet to open a short position. And the other thing we have to be aware of is that we now go into the Asia time zone, which is usually a consolidation zone. So it could be possible that actually nothing happens for the next few hours until UK opens tonight. So even if we head sideways from here for the next few hours and maybe get our drop tonight, then maybe US open will continue it, and that's how we'll get our 3 level drops. But it depends on how Asia opens, because even though Asia is usually consolidation, sometimes it can move the market. We did see that this week when we had the public holidays, that the market shifted to Asia. So definitely keep an eye out. I'm not looking for any further longs at this point in time. I am looking for reversals, but only on smaller time frames. So what may look like a reversal on a smaller time frame may not look like anything on a larger time frame. And to give you an example of that, let's jump down to the 5-minute time frame. So you can see here, this was the M formation on a 5-minute time frame. This here was drop level 1, this here was drop level 2, and this here was drop level 3. Then we went into a W formation. Out of that W formation, we've had rise level 1, and here is rise level 2. So on a lower time frame, we're actually waiting for rise level 3, whereas on higher time frames, we're waiting for a lower high to short. So it goes to show that this model is great on any time frame. Just to be clear for anyone who's joining me for the first time, what I'm talking about is called the market maker method. It was developed by a man named Steve Marrow. It's not my method, and that's why I don't have a course for it teaching it, because it's publicly available on the internet. You don't need to pay to learn it. I have added my own flavor to the method by using trading light heat maps to help me better identify key areas of reversal, and also liquidation data as well to know where the liquidity is for the market maker. But other than that, all I really trade is the market maker method. Now, whilst you can learn that online, if you are looking for someone to bounce questions off whilst you're learning, or you want to learn with a community of people, the Patreons in my Discord community are brand new to learning this strategy. In fact, they're only 1 week in. So if you are wanting to learn this in detail with them, come and join us in the Discord, where you'll have other people that are learning it with you at the same time, and you can bounce questions off each other. There's a number of options for my Discord. This one here, the first class, that's where we do the live sessions. So there's a chat where the members can ask me questions, and we also get together live once a week and go through the actual method in detail and how I've personally adapted it to my own trading. So if you're interested in joining that so that you don't have to learn alone, now is the perfect time, because these guys are only 1 week in to learning the method. A link to this page is in the description of my video. Now, moving on. So for me personally, I'm not looking for any long positions today. I am instead looking to see if I get an M formation here, and then I'll open a short position there. I've just remarked those highs and lows of the days and weeks according to yesterday's close. So yeah, if we can get a lower high here, then I would expect that at some point we will hopefully break the low of the week and break that support, and then I'll be looking for those 3 level drops. Now, let's talk about investing in Bitcoin long term and what it means. Something happened last night. I woke up this morning and saw it, and it really bothered me. And so we're going to talk about it in detail. What bothered me, guys, was I woke up to this message in my Discord. And the message reads, "Do you guys think the market will ever come to its all-time high? I've always had high hopes for crypto, but now I'm sinking into the reality of how much the market is manipulated and retail is losing their money fast. I'm feeling people will start to lose trust if this continues. And as you know, market maker will get greedier and greedier as time goes on. The market honestly hasn't come close to its all-time high in a very long time. I would love anyone's thoughts on this." Well, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. Let's zoom out for a second. Now, on average, if you go back and test through time, Bitcoin in a bear market will drop about 85% from its all-time high, right? So if we just draw that as a straight down 85%, then that brings us to $10,200 186. And this is why people are calling 10,000 Bitcoin. But that's just such a simple measurement and impossible to make a prediction based off just that. When you think about it, if the worst damage is Bitcoin dropping 85% from its all-time high in a bear market, and so far the worst we've done is 50%, are we in a bear market? This is the question. Until you've felt the pain of Ethereum going from $1,200 down to $80, or XRP, I think it was about $3 down to 20 cents. That's a bear market, right? If this is your first year in crypto, this isn't a bear market. What I would challenge you to think is when we mark out the low of the year and the high of the year, we are just in a range, my friends. We are just in a range. So that part about the market maker being greedy, yes, they are. You have to ask yourself why. Are there such big things coming in crypto that is forming the reason for the market maker to keep Bitcoin in a range for 474 days so far? What do they know that we don't know? You know, if Bitcoin has not yet dropped that support of 29,400, where's the proof that we're going to 10, 12, 15, 20K? Where's the proof? Until we drop this channel, we can then talk about this level. Until we drop this level, we can then talk about this level. But what you have to understand is that, number one, people just pull things out of nowhere, right? So you saw how simple it was that I just drew a measurement tool. If the market's moved by a measurement tool, like, people would figure it out, right? People would figure it out. It's so much more complicated than that. At the end of the day, yes, this looks like a scary bear flag, but if this accumulation period has not yet taught you that any traditional pattern has been designed to look like a pattern to make retail believe prices going in a certain direction so that they load up so that the market maker can then not make that pattern play out, then I don't think you've been learning the right lesson in this period. I'm afraid to say it. This is why I went on the journey of understanding who actually moves this market, what are they thinking, and what are they doing? Because 474 days in the same range, something big is going on that we're not aware of, right? Now, for months now on this channel, I've been saying the only thing that is going to let Bitcoin crack its all-time high is a major market news that brings in major money to crypto. Inflation, deflation, countries, wars, this and that, that's not going to do it. What we don't understand, because we're retail traders and we can just jump onto a website and buy Bitcoin and we can make our own decisions so far, what we don't understand is that there is big money out there in other markets that cannot yet get into this market because they are restricted by rules when managing people's money. So when you think about it that way, superannuation funds, for example, do you know how much money is in superannuation funds that can't yet invest in crypto? It's probably where the most money is. So when you think about it like that, then the question becomes, what is it going to take to shift Bitcoin out of this zone and create those all-time highs? And the answer is approval of those Bitcoin ETFs. Now, we all got excited when the Bitcoin futures ETFs got approved and we thought that was going to moon price, but it wasn't, because the only thing that's going to move price like that is supply being taken away. So who takes supply away? Not futures markets, because futures markets aren't buying crypto to trade it. They're just trading the value of it, right? But actual spot ETFs, they remove supply. What happens when you remove supply? The demand goes up. So a lot of people say we're in a bear market. Yes, we are currently bearish because prices come down. Looks like we're in a bear flag. Doesn't feel to me like we've had enough of a shakeout yet. So I am still very aware that we may break this channel. I spoke about it on my video yesterday, the level to watch. You can see it marked there. We may break it. But for me, unless we break this range here between, say, 30 to 32K, then I have no reason to believe we're going to 10, 12, 15, 20K. Nothing right now. We've been waiting for these spot BTC ETFs to be approved for a very long time. They've just been approved in Australia. Sadly, Australia doesn't move markets, but it is one step forward for crypto. And I believe that the SEC has until June to approve a US one. And that's why in November, on this very channel when I said do not hold your crypto into December. And ever since that video, everybody has been waiting for me to turn bullish again. And I've always said I don't think I'm going to turn bullish until the first half of this year is done. So where I stand right now is I see still every shakeout as an opportunity to buy as a long-term investor. I accumulate Bitcoin between the 30 and 40K zone. Anytime it drops under 40, I'm happy to buy it with my trading profits. I also dollar cost average into Bitcoin and Ethereum every week. I don't care what the price is. I know in my soul that I don't want money, right? So when I get paid, I want that money to go into crypto. So without a doubt, every Friday, I do it Melbourne time, Friday, 6 p.m. because usually that's take profit day and the market drops a little. So I get it a little bit cheaper for that week. Without a doubt, I don't worry if Bitcoin is going to be worth less next week. It's irrelevant to me. I am always dollar cost averaging into crypto and storing it offline. Now, you might ask me why? Like, what if it does go to 20K and you're buying between 30 and 40? I don't care. I started buying Bitcoin when it was $4,000. So my average entry is very low anyway, but I know that Bitcoin is a forever up asset and I'm going to show you why. All right, my friends, what you're seeing in front of you right now is the Bitcoin chart on the weekly since the beginning of time all the way back in 2010. Now I'm going to expand this out and I'm going to show you something. Stay with me for this because it's good. So from the time Bitcoin was created, its first all-time high was up here at $31. Then it went through a bear market into a consolidation period, and then it came back to that all-time high. And that took 623 days, so 2 years in total, meaning the bear market was about 1 year of that, right? Now, once it got back to this price here, never in history, ever again, once it broke through, has it ever returned to that price. The closest it came was up here at $64. Okay, so that's the bull market number one out of the way. Now let's go to bull market number two, the next all-time high. This was the second bull market. Just so you know, we usually have a high, then a retracement, then the real parabolic high. In most of the 4-year cycles, that is what has happened. So this is 2013 and this is also 2013. So this is the same cycle here. So here's the all-time high for the 2013 cycle at $1,178. Then Bitcoin went into a long bear market, consolidated, and then started to push up again. Now, once Bitcoin broke and held that all-time high, so this retest failed, but here was where it finally broke and pushed through. We went into the next bull market, and as you can see here, Bitcoin has never returned to $1,178 again. So now here we have the next cycle up here, which was the one most of us remember in 2017, where Bitcoin went to almost $20,000. Then we went into a bear market, had this consolidation stuck around the 10K for a long time. And so far to date, Bitcoin has never returned to $20,000 again. Now, that is only 3 examples of a cycle, and this current cycle isn't over, so we can't yet say that Bitcoin has never dropped below 20K again. It is possible still that Bitcoin could come back to retest it, but think about it logically. Who wouldn't buy Bitcoin at 20 grand? Who would not defend that level, you know? So worst case scenario, if we were to drop there, it's a buying opportunity that should excite people. The next part of that then is the business model of miners, which I've talked about on this channel before. The break-even level for miners is $34,000, right? If Bitcoin drops below $34,000, miners start losing money. They have a buffer up to about $30,000 because they make money from transaction fees and whatnot. So you would say that the range for miners to break even is between $30,000 and $34,000. Look how well that level has been defended throughout this entire cycle. Now that again, it's not to say that we won't break that level, but until we do, there is no discussion of Bitcoin being below 30K. It's just speculation. It's just fear mongering. There's no evidence behind it. And there's more evidence to say that Bitcoin will go to 100K one day, because when you look at past history and you look at all-time high, level of retracement, breakthrough, what was that percentage, come back, never come back and break the previous all-time high, then you start to understand that statement of Bitcoin being a forever up asset. And that's why people invest in Bitcoin. That's why they buy it dollar cost average and never sell, because there is nothing else that does this. So the question then being, if a market maker is manipulating price, will we ever see 100K? Well, the real question is, why is the market maker manipulating price for 469 days now? Why is the market maker manipulating this price? Is this a bear market or is this an accumulation zone? I can't answer that question for you. I have my own personal thoughts. Hopefully they've been fairly obvious in this video, but hopefully that little bit of information gave you a little bit more clarity and a little more belief in crypto in general. At some point in time, if this does turn out to be an accumulation zone, they would have accumulated what they're happy to accumulate and they're going to let it run. Don't forget, the market maker existed during this run here, and they let the price go from $5,000 to $67,000 in the end, or $68,000. They let that happen. So why wouldn't they let it go from $30,000 to $100, $200, $300, even more $1,000? You know, they've done it before. When the time is right, when they've accumulated, just like they accumulated here, just like they accumulated a year after every bear market, when they've accumulated what they want, they will let this run. Don't give up on crypto. It's not over. This is happening by design. That's the lesson you need to take away from this. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some weekend clarity. Again, don't forget, there is a news play tonight. Don't hold on to trades too long. Don't hold them into weekends. Weekends are a weekend trap. If you can make your money today, make it, take your profits, have the weekend off, and have the most beautiful time. I'll see you next week.